The brand new, bright red, muddy boots, written and illustrated by Hannah Adams. Once upon a time, it was a day on the farm just like any other day. The sun was out and shining, but the air was crisp with company of October, and Emily was doing what she always did on mornings like this one. The only thing that was different was that today was special because she was wearing the brand new, bright red pair of rain boots that her mother had gotten for her birthday. Hay to the horses, hay to the family of goats in the barn, and fresh straw for the dog pens as they ran about her, playing and trying to catch the last drops of the morning dew in their hot, stinky mouths. Heading to the horses, her first stop would be easy, as she could hear from a distance the strong snorting neighs and whinnies coming from the barn. "Here's your breakfast, gentlemen," she said to the horses as she approached them, dropping hay into their feeders. They let out a symphony of cheerful neighs and horsey thank yous as she left for her next stop. Departing the barn and making sure to tiptoe ever so carefully around the oozy, sticky mud that lay just outside, Emily made her way to the goat pasture. More than anything, she did not want to get her brand new boots dirty. So with hay in her arms and eyes alert for any sign of that gross brown stuff, she began to inch ever so closer to the pasture. Thinking that the coast was clear, Emily had almost reached her huge friends when all of a sudden she noticed a huge puddle of the same oozy, sticky mud that she had to carefully cross over at the horse barn. "Oh no," she thought, "not again," and looking down at her brand new red boots, she began to once again tiptoe carefully around the mud. Phew, that was close, as she breathed a huge breath of relief. And leaving the goat pasture, Emily hoped that her last stop would be the easiest of them all. With that, and with fresh straw in her hands and no mud in sight, she set off for the dog kennel, her boots still the same shiny new red color. Being overjoyed at the thought of almost being finished with her morning chores and not thinking about anything else, it was at this moment when Emily realized something. Where had the dogs gone? Looking here and looking there in a panic, she could not find them anywhere. Maybe they went back in the barn to visit the horses, she thought loudly. And in an instant, just as she began to turn around to go back to the barn to check, out of the corner of her eye, Emily spotted two large furry figures bounding toward her like leaves being carried away by the wind. Before she knew it, hay was flying everywhere and crash, boom, splat, plop. This could not be good. Realizing what had happened, Emily opened one eye cautiously and then the other as she was greeted out of the blue with warm, sloppy licks by her clumsy dog friends, who had just knocked her over. Standing herself back up with shaky legs resembling a baby deer, "It really could have been worse," she said to herself. At least her shiny, new boots were still on her feet and still not mud. And as she looked down at her feet, realizing just in that moment how dirty she had become from her fall, there sat Emily's boots, still on her feet, only this time they were covered from every inch with oozy, sticky, gross mud. However, as much as Emily was upset, she realized how silly she must have looked all covered in mud with her two muddy dog friends standing right next to her. So Emily began to laugh, filled with joy, realizing that even though her boots were not spotless and clean anymore, they were still the same wonderful boots that she had been so excited to wear all day. Only now they were her brand new, bright red, muddy boots.